You know, I never thought I'd be here talking to you about dancing at 72. Not in a million years. 3 years ago, I could barely get up from my favorite armchair without wincing. My knees crackled like bubble wrap, my back ached constantly, and my doctor had that look, you know the one, where they're trying to be kind while basically telling you to accept that this is just what getting older means. I remember watching my grandchildren dance around the living room one Christmas, completely uninhibited, full of joy. And I thought to myself, those days are behind me now. It broke my heart a little. But turns out, I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm Margaret, by the way. Most people call me Maggie. I've been a grandmother for 15 years now, and retired from teaching elementary school for almost a decade. I've always been the responsible one, raising 3 kids mostly on my own after my husband passed, making sure the bills were paid, dinner was on the table, and everyone had what they needed. Dancing was something I loved in my youth. My parents met at a dance hall in 1952, and I guess it was in my blood. As a teenager in the 60s, I'd spend hours practicing dance moves in front of my bedroom mirror. I met my husband at a community dance, and even after having kids, we'd clear the living room furniture on Friday nights and dance to records. But life happens, doesn't it? Work gets busier, kids need more attention, and then there's the endless cycle of responsibilities. Dancing became something I used to do. Just a nice memory. By the time I hit 69, I'd settled into what I thought was a typical retirement. Quiet mornings with crossword puzzles, occasional visits with the grandkids, doctor appointments that seemed to multiply each year. My world was getting smaller, and honestly, I was starting to feel invisible, like society had decided I was past my expiration date. It wasn't one dramatic moment that changed everything, no heart attack or serious fall. Instead, it was something so simple that still makes me emotional to talk about. My daughter Amy had taken a video of me trying to get down on the floor to play with my youngest grandchild. I didn't know she was recording. Later that night, she showed it to me, thinking it was cute. But what I saw horrified me. This hunched-over woman, grimacing with each movement, looking 20 years older than I felt inside. That was me. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking, is this it? Is this all there? Is now, and something in me just rebelled? I've never been one to accept limitations easily. As a single mom in the 1980s, I'd fought too hard for too many things to just give up now. The next morning, I did something that changed everything. I searched online for exercise for seniors and found this YouTube channel with a woman about my age doing gentle dance movements. She was smiling the whole time, actually enjoying herself. And I thought, well, I can at least try that. Let me tell you, that first workout was humbling. I could only stand for about 7 minutes before needing to sit down. My coordination was terrible. I was breathing hard just doing simple arm movements. But there was this tiny spark of something I hadn't felt in years. Fun. Actual fun. I decided to commit to just 10 minutes every morning. No pressure, no expectations. Just movement to music in my living room where nobody could see me. Some days were better than others. Some days I'd get discouraged when my knees hurt or I couldn't keep up. But I had this little rule. I wouldn't allow myself to quit until the music stopped. Even if I just swayed or moved my arms. Stay in motion until the song ends. After about 3 weeks, something started to change. I could go a little longer without resting. I wasn't as winded. And most surprisingly, I started looking forward to my dance time. I'd find myself thinking about it before bed, even planning which outfit I'd wear, as if anyone was watching. Now, I'm not going to tell you I turned into some senior fitness model overnight. That's not how real life works. The changes were gradual, sometimes so subtle I didn't notice them until someone else pointed them out. About 2 months in, I realized I could get up from chairs without using the armrests. I could reach the top shelves in my kitchen without that shooting pain in my shoulder. Small victories, but they felt enormous to me. 6 months in, my doctor was shocked at my checkup. My blood pressure had improved. I'd lost 12 pounds without even trying, and my bone density test showed improvement for the first time in 8 years. He actually asked what I was doing differently, and when I told him I was dancing in my living room to YouTube videos, he looked at me like I was pulling his leg. But the physical benefits were just the beginning. The real magic was happening in ways I hadn't anticipated at all. Around month 4 of my daily dance routine, I got brave enough to comment on one of the videos. Just a simple, "Thank you for making these accessible for beginners," the instructor replied, and several other women my age commented too. I realized I wasn't alone in this journey. There was Doris from Florida, who had started after a hip replacement. Robert in Oregon, who was dancing to help with his Parkinson's symptoms. Sheila from London, who, like me, just wanted to feel alive again. We started encouraging each other in the comments, sharing our small victories and frustrations. It sounds strange to say I made friends through YouTube comments, but that's exactly what happened. One day, the instructor mentioned she had a private Facebook group for her dance family. I joined, even though my grandkids always teased me about being the last person on earth to get Facebook. Suddenly, I had over 200 new friends in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s who were all on similar journeys. The isolation I'd been feeling just melted away. I wasn't invisible anymore. I mattered to these people, and they mattered to me. About a year into my dance journey, my daughter Amy, the same one who'd shown me that difficult video, was having a family barbecue. Music was playing, the grandkids were dancing in the backyard, and everyone was having a wonderful time. My granddaughter Emma, who was 8 at the time, grabbed my hand and said, "Dance with me, Grandma." My first instinct was to say no, to protect myself from being seen struggling. But then I realized I wasn't the same person I had been a year ago. So I got up and I danced with her. Nothing fancy, just moving to the rhythm, twirling her around, laughing together. I didn't think anyone was paying attention until I noticed the yard had gotten quieter. I looked up to see my family watching us, my son-in-law recording on his phone, and my daughter Amy. She had tears streaming down her face. Later, she hugged me and whispered, "Mom, I've never seen you look so happy." So free that moment. That's when I knew everything had changed. I wasn't just exercising anymore. I was reclaiming parts of myself I thought were gone forever. Now, this wouldn't be an honest story if I pretended it's been smooth sailing the whole time. About 18 months into my journey, I slipped on some ice while getting my mail and sprained my ankle badly. The doctor said no weight-bearing exercise for at least 6 weeks. I was devastated. I'd come so far, and I was terrified of losing all my progress, of sliding back into that person I didn't recognize anymore. For a few days, I wallowed in self-pity. But then I remembered something my dance instructor always said at the end of her videos. Movement is medicine, in whatever form your body needs today. So I started doing seated dance workouts. Just upper body movements at first, then adding gentle foot motions as my ankle healed. It wasn't the same, but it kept that spark alive. It reminded me that setbacks aren't failures, they're just detours. When I was finally cleared to stand and dance again, I actually cried with gratitude. That experience taught me something profound about resilience at any age. The most unexpected part of this journey has been how it's affected my mind. I've always been sharp. You have to be when you're teaching 33rd graders every day. But I'd noticed some forgetfulness creeping in after retirement. Misplaced keys, forgotten appointments, that sort of thing. After about a year of regular dancing, I realized those incidents had become much rarer. Research backs this up, by the way. Dance is one of the most effective activities for cognitive health because it combines physical movement with mental challenges like learning steps and moving to rhythm. But beyond the brain benefits, there's been a profound psychological shift. I sleep better. I worry less. I've become more willing to try new things in all areas of my life. Last month, I took my first international trip in 20 years, a river cruise through Europe that I'd always dreamed about but never had the confidence to book. I even participated in the dance night on the ship, something the old me would have watched from the sidelines. About 6 months ago, something amazing happened. My local senior center director approached me after seeing me at the grocery store. Apparently, her mother follows the same YouTube channel, and she recognized me from the comments section. She asked if I'd consider leading a small dance group at the center. My first reaction was panic. Me? Teaching others? I'm not a professional. But then I thought about all the seniors in my community who might be sitting at home right now, feeling like their active days are behind them. So I said yes. We started with just 5 people, meeting twice a week in a small room at the center. Now we're up to 23 regulars ranging from 65 to 88 years old, and we had to move to the main hall to have enough space. I'm not doing anything fancy, just sharing the movements that have helped me, creating a judgment-free zone where we can all move at our own pace. The transformation I've seen in some of my students mirrors my own journey. Elaine, who's 81, couldn't raise her arms above her shoulders when she started. Last week, she showed everyone how she can now reach up to change her own light bulbs again. Independence regained through movement. I want to be clear that what's happened to me isn't some miracle or anomaly. The science on senior fitness, especially dance, is robust and encouraging. Dance combines cardiovascular exercise, strength training, balance work, and cognitive engagement all in one activity. For seniors, this combination is particularly powerful. Studies have shown that regular dance can improve balance and gait, reducing fall risk by up to 50% in older adults. It can increase bone density, helping combat osteoporosis. The rhythmic movement helps with joint flexibility and reduces arthritis pain. But perhaps most importantly, dance addresses what many exercise programs for seniors miss: the joy factor. When exercise feels like a chore or a medical requirement, compliance rates drop dramatically. But when it feels like fun, when it connects us to music and memories and other people, that's when it becomes sustainable. I'm not suggesting everyone needs to dance specifically. The key is finding movement that brings you joy, that makes you forget you're exercising in the first place. So here I am at 72, 3 years into what I now call my second act. I dance almost every day, either at home with my online community or at the senior center with my in-person dance family. My doctor has reduced 2 of my medications and says I have the cardiovascular health of someone a decade younger. I can get down on the floor to play with my grandkids, and more importantly, I can get back up again without help. I can carry my own groceries, clean my own gutters, and last month I even helped my neighbor move her couch. Me, moving furniture at 72. But the physical achievements, as wonderful as they are, pale in comparison to how I feel mentally and emotionally. I wake up with purpose. I look forward to each day. I've made new friends and deepened relationships with old ones. I've become a resource for others instead of just a recipient of help. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of myself dancing in a mirror or window reflection, and I barely recognize that confident, joyful woman. But then I realize this isn't a new me. This is who I've always been. Just needed to remember. If you're watching this and thinking it's too late for you, please hear me. 3 years ago, I couldn't stand for 10 minutes without pain. I thought my dancing days, my living days were winding down. If someone had told me then what my life would look like now, I would have laughed in disbelief. The journey back to movement doesn't have to be dramatic or intense. It starts with a single song, a single moment of allowing yourself to feel the rhythm and respond to it however your body can today. Maybe that's just swaying in a chair or moving your arms. That's perfectly okay. It's where many of us start. The secret isn't in pushing through pain or forcing yourself to match some instructor on a screen. It's about finding that spark of joy in movement again, nurturing it gently, letting it grow at its own pace. Age isn't the barrier we've been told it is. Yes, our bodies change. Yes, we have different capabilities than we did at 20 or 30 or 40. But the capacity for joy, for improvement, for reclaiming what matters to us, that never disappears. If you're inspired to try, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Or join our Facebook group. The link is in the description. We welcome dancers of all abilities, especially beginners. Remember, everyone you see dancing confidently now started exactly where you are. As my favorite dance instructor always says at the end of our sessions, the music may stop, but the rhythm lives in your heart forever. Your dancing days aren't over unless you decide they are. Thank you for listening to my story. Now I think I hear my song playing.